What is going on, everybody? I'm back making another video, and in today's video we're going to be going over 10 more pro tips and tricks. My original 10 tips and tricks video is actually my most popular blade ball video so far, so yeah, since you guys really enjoyed the first 10 tips and tricks video, I decided to make another one because there were a lot more things I could have added. I could have just done a top 20, but I didn't, so here we are, part 2. If you haven't already seen the first top 10 video, I would highly recommend watching that one first, mainly because those were like the most important 10, like those are the first 10 things that me and my pro friend kind of thought of, but these next 10 are really important as well. So starting off at number 1, well, I guess number 11 if this is a continuation of the first video, but number 1 is you want to be playing on a high sensitivity. My sensitivity is 0.25, which doesn't look very high, but my DPI is pretty high, so I can just move around like this. And the reason you want to play on a high sensitivity is because the ball is going all around you, and you need to be able to move your character around fast, and to also be able to curve shots quickly when it's going really fast. And you kind of can't do that on a low sensitivity. And throwing back to the first video, like when there's a lot of people near you and the ball's going behind you and all around you, you just have to have a good sensitivity. But like I said, throwing back to the first video, one of the tips was to stay away from people. So yeah, don't be too close to people and run a high sensitivity so that you can always track the ball and hit curve shots. And the number 2 tip for this video is actually to curve a lot of your shots. And you need a high sensitivity to be able to do that. So you can actually curve shots in every direction, and the way you curve shots is it's just the direction that you're facing when you hit the ball. So obviously you're supposed to block early before the ball gets to you, so block and look up in the air or look behind you or look to the right, look to the left, and you can curve the ball in all these different directions. Hitting the ball behind you is actually super useful a lot of the time because you can glitch the ball out and it'll curve back around to the person and take a lot longer than they expect. Or if you just curve the ball like upwards at them, it actually seems to go faster a lot of the time. So you can throw the ball timing off in a bunch of different ways, and you can get easy kills on people without even using abilities. Just have a high sensitivity and curve the ball in a bunch of different ways, and you can really throw people off with just those first 2 tips. So for tip number 3, you're going to want to get really good with one ability. Find an ability that you really like get really good with pull, or get really good with rapture, or get really good with something like force field. Find an ability that you like and just get really good with it. And if there's people in your lobby that are countering your ability a bunch, then I guess you could switch abilities, but you could also just switch servers. You don't have to play in a server full of pros where everyone has like 1,000 wins if you don't want to. I mean, it's good practice, but you're probably not going to get that many wins. So yeah, get good with one ability and stick with it, or get good with a couple abilities and stick with them. Just don't be switching between like 5-6 abilities all the time, because you're gonna forget which ability you have on a lot of the time. You're gonna think you have rapture on, and then you're gonna go, oh, I had pull on, and you just pull the ball into yourself when you're trying to do a rapture hit. So just stick with one ability, get really good at one ability. Just don't be switching every game. Okay, so number 4 is to play in low player servers. And a lot of people are gonna think this is a weird tip, but let me just explain. When you're playing in low player servers, not only is it way easier to get wins because you're only going against like 4 or 5 people instead of 15, but you'll also get a lot more practice. When you're playing in a low player server, not only do you get wins way more often and way quicker because there's just less players, but you'll be in 1v1s a lot more often. You'll instantly get into like a big fight with a couple of people as soon as the game starts, instead of waiting a whole minute or two for the first 5, 6, or 7 noobs to get knocked out. Because in a 15-player server, the ball usually doesn't even go for you at all, like within the first minute. So it's just way better practice, and you can farm wins way quicker in lower player servers. So just go find a server with like 4 or 5 players in it and play in that server. Also, wins do not count in servers with less than 4 people. So you have to have at least 4 or more people for a win to count. So you can't just 1v1 somebody and like rack up wins. It doesn't work like that. But it's way better to play with like 4 or 5 people instead of 15 if you're trying to rack up wins and you're trying to get some practice. you'll have a lot more ball time with only a few other players. And for the 5th tip, you're going to want to be spamming F and mouse 1. You're going to spam both buttons at the same time if you're in a super close 1v1 where the ball's going crazy fast. Once the ball's going that fast, you don't have to time the ball because your block has like almost a 1-second period where it can hit the ball. So like you can block when the ball's halfway to you, and then when it gets to you, the block will still hit it. Obviously, if the ball's going fast enough and it gets to you in time. But when you're literally hitting the ball back and forth this fast, you can spam as fast as possible and you won't get a block cooldown because the ball will be coming back to you so quick that before your block runs out, like the ball will already be back to you. So you won't get a cooldown and end up losing that fight. So it's pretty much just who's clicking faster. The ball's gonna get crazy fast in between you two, and if you're clicking mouse 1 and F at the same time, you're alternate clicking 2 different block buttons, because there's 2 different block buttons. You can press F or you can press mouse 1. It's just way faster, and you'll win super fast close-up fights more often if you spam both buttons alternating. A lot of people are always trying to time the ball in those super quick 1v1s. Like, you don't need to do that. Once the ball's a certain speed and you're close enough to somebody, you just spam as fast as possible and the ball will get back to you before your block stops working and it goes on cooldown. So you won't miss the ball is what I'm trying to say. Tip number 6 is rushing people sometimes. Now, in my last video, my last top 10, I said to stay away from people. You don't want people near you because they could just turn to the side and slam the ball into you and you won't have any time to react. But that's why this is a part 2 to the original video. The first 10 tips in the first video were like basic tips, but now we're going a little more in depth. I told you in the first video as one of the tips to stay away from people, but you're going to want to get near people sometimes to actually rush them. So if you're like in a 1v1 with somebody and you start closely getting closer to somebody and you just hit the ball towards them, 9 times out of 10, they are not going to have any time to react. So you can just slam the ball into somebody near you and it's a free kill. But that's also why you want to stay away from people that are in a 1v1 so that they don't do that same thing to you. But it's really useful. A lot of the time I sneak up behind somebody when the ball's coming to me and then just slam it right into them. Or you can sneak up on somebody else when the ball's going to them if you have like a pull ability. And then right when they're about to hit it, you just pull it to yourself and then slam it into their back. I get free kills by doing that all the time. So you're going to want to stay away from people unless you're near somebody for a reason. Tip number 7 is when the ball is going super crazy fast like this, you're going to want to click as soon as you see the ball turn red. Like, this is extremely important in like a 1v1v1 example. Like, if you guys are hitting it in a triangle and then they start hitting it back and forth and it's not coming to you, as soon as somebody turns and hits it to you, the second you see that ball turn red, you're going to want to click immediately if the ball is going super fast. Like, I literally stand across the entire map from people, but if the ball's going fast enough, as soon as the ball turns red next to them, I'll click and it'll shoot at me so fast that you pretty much just have to instantly click as soon as the ball turns red. Too many people try to time it and click like right before the ball gets to them, but if the ball's going fast enough, if the ball's literally zipping across the map like crazy fast between people, you have to click as soon as the ball turns red. If you try to time it, you might have too high of a ping and it won't even register, even if you click when the ball's like halfway to you. If it's going fast enough, you have to click just as soon as you see it turn red. Tip number 8, I kind of covered this in tip number 6 when I said to rush people, but tip number 8 is sneaking up behind people, especially if they're in a 1v1. You can use a pull ability and hit it into their back, but also, even if you don't have a pull ability, if you're just standing right behind somebody, the person that they're fighting could hit the ball into you, and then you can just slam it right into their back, and it's going to be really hard for them to time that shot and actually react and hit the ball back. And for my 9th tip, play with friends, because you and your friends can actually help each other out. This is kind of a team game if you want it to be, but you and your friends can help each other out. you can both be hitting the ball to one guy, and then he'll go, oh, they're teaming on me, and he'll just click every time you guys hit the ball. But then you could like switch it up and hit it to each other and then hit it at him, and he would have clicked too early. So there's a lot of trick plays that you can do with having a teammate, especially if you guys have like two different abilities. Like one person has invisibility, one person has pull. There's so many crazy plays you can make with two people. Like if you and your friend are facing off against somebody, one person has pull, one person has invisibility. Let's say the ball's going at the person with invisibility, he goes invisible, and the ball's going right back at the guy you guys are fighting. So he's gonna block, but before the ball gets to him, the other person can use pull and then just slam it right back into him. And since your teammate's invisible, the ball's guaranteed to go at that other guy that you're fighting. So that was just one example of many. You could do like tons of different ability combos with a friend and just destroy people. It's super annoying when you get teamed on in this game, but it's completely allowed. You're allowed to play with friends, and anybody can hit the ball to anybody they want to. So yeah, play with some friends in this game and try to like make cool plays against people. It's a lot of fun, and you can also get a lot of free kills and free wins by taking advantage of having a teammate. And for the 10th tip or trick, whatever you want to call it for this video, is save your abilities for the right times. I see people just use their ability right at the beginning of the game to get a free kill, and I'm guilty of it too. I do that all the time. If the ball's going at someone in the beginning of the game and I have pull, right before they're about to hit it, I'll just pull it and then slam it into them, and their block will be on cooldown. So it's a free kill, but you could really be in a situation right afterwards if somebody's rushing you or trying to 1v1 you. You could be in a situation where you really wished you saved that ability. So I would just say to use an ability when you need it to get a free kill, because it's better to get a kill with an ability where you are actually in trouble instead of just getting a free kill with your ability and then you need it later and you end up just getting knocked out of the game because you wasted your ability. So getting free kills with abilities is cool and all, but it's way smarter to just get a free kill with it when you actually need it. So yeah, those are the 10 tips and tricks. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna end it out with some gameplay, get a couple of wins, and yeah, thank you guys for all the support. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, comment some ideas for more future videos down below, and subscribe if you have not already. I'll see you all in the next one very soon. Peace out, everybody.
spirit say.